I know it's only August, but this is hands down by far my favorite album of the entire year, 2023. I don't see how any artist could release an album within the next 4 months that would top Good Person by Ingrid Andress. Now technically, I am cheating because the original Good Person was released in August of 2022. So happy birthday. But Good Person, the deluxe version, was released in March of 2023, and technically that's the version that we're going to be talking about. Now, a little story time before we dive in. I did get the opportunity to see Ingrid Andress live for the first time ever earlier this month at Lollapalooza, and it was amazing. I was in the front row, and as somebody who's been a fan of her since Ladylike and has a copy of her first ever album, it was probably one of my favorite moments of that entire weekend. However, I was a bit of a fake fan because I didn't even know that she had released a new album until about 5 minutes before she took the stage. So I went from super confident that I was going to know every single word of her set to completely mortified that I let that little detail slip by. However, I wouldn't change a thing because the 2 songs that she did play off the album that I didn't know, I got to experience for the first time ever live. And it was a very magical experience. I did listen to the album the second I got back to Texas, and I immediately bought it shortly thereafter because it is a beautiful piece of art. But enough about me. Let's talk about Ingrid Andress' sophomore album, Good Person. I'm Anna Vargas, and welcome to The Wall. Track 1 is the title track of the album, and I feel like it was the perfect opener, not just because of the hauntingly beautiful opening music that kind of sets the tone and really gets you in the mood to listen to the rest of the album, but because the lyrics really encompass the entire thematic motivation of the album. So Good Person, the song, is all about questioning how somebody could be so positive in life when there are so many reasons not to, and also questioning one's own morality. When Good Person, the album, is all about taking these stories that make it really easy to focus on the negatives of life and relationships and love, but then contrast them with stories about perseverance and the subtle beauty of life and relationships and love. My only nitpick with this song, however, is that there's a slight reverb on her voice, and I feel like it sort of masks the complexity of her singing. It's a stylistic choice that doesn't carry all the way through the album, and I'm really glad that it doesn't, because especially after hearing her live, I know that she can sing, so I would honestly just do without that little detail. As an ex-yearbook person, this song is the anthem as to why my staff decided to ban most likely to get married and go to prom together and stay best friends forever superlatives, and I wish I could go back in time and play this for all the people who doubted that decision. Now, I was lucky enough to go through life with 2 happily married parents, but I didn't have to live through the pain to appreciate the beauty of her lyricism in this song, because I can only imagine this young girl who's going through life knowing that complete strangers got to experience this pure and simple love between 2 people, her parents, love that she has never witnessed, but she knows that it was possible because according to this book, they were once madly in love. I mean, it's written in red ink, but it's a love that only survived back when life was less stressful and less complicated and prior to her own existence, and it's just utterly heartbreaking. Like, it's the kind of song that Nancy Wheeler from Stranger Things would totally listen to on her Walkman. I love that the song plays right after Yearbook because I feel like it's the kind of song that the mom could relate to. Like, it's all about growth and maturity and becoming a whole person within a relationship with somebody who still wants those wild nights on the 15-yard line and can't fathom that their spark is gone. Like, I feel like Yearbook and seeing someone else tell the complete story of, like, the high school jock who's in love with the idea of being with the high school cheerleader, and everybody loves them, and they stay together because that's what they're supposed to do, and then they get married because that's what they're supposed to, and then they have kids because that's what they're supposed to do, and the entire time he was only in love with the idea of the girlfriend, the fiance, the wife, and now years have passed, and he still wants to relive those glory days with the wild, carefree 16-year-old that he met in high school, only to discover that she's not that girl anymore, and he doesn't know how to get her back, and he doesn't want to get to know the woman that she is now. I also just really love when artists write songs from a complex third-person point of view where you think they're writing about someone else and then, oh my gosh, it was about them the entire time. Would you have me when my face is on the news? 'Cause I killed someone for you. You have to understand that the one I killed is me. Changing what I was for what you wanted me to be. This is such a beautiful song, especially in the age of communications, the key to a healthy relationship. Like, that is the #1 piece of advice I've gotten since I started dating. And as someone in a long distance relationship where all you can do is talk, talking is nothing without action. Like, I learned that the hard way this past year, and I feel like it's something that a lot of seemingly healthy relationships need to hear. This song is her last-ditch attempt at being heard by her partner and not just listened to. Like, there's so much more that goes into a relationship than just telling your partner how you feel and listening to their feedback. Like, talking is the first step, but how are you going to fix the problem? How are you going to show that you care? Like, what's next? What's after the talking?
Well, how honest do you want me to be? Yeah. How honest do you want me to be? 'Cause when you water down whiskey, it gets easier to drink. And a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine sweeter. You say you want the truth, but the truth, baby, it might sting. So how honest do you want me to be? Yeah.
This song perfectly encapsulates the moment when you're breaking up with someone for the betterment of your own mental health and quite possibly theirs as well, and they just throw it back in your face that you are an awful person for leaving. Like, just listen to this bridge.
Do you have any idea what you put me through? What you did to me? What I did for you? Now you're turning me into an enemy. When I know you knew how much I loved you. How much I loved you.
That is the emotion. That is the voice of someone who wants to stay, who wants to be wanted, who gave everything that they could for this relationship. This song is for the breakup guilt of feeling like you could have done more to save the relationship, and then getting your feelings validated by the other person because they pin all of the blame on you, but you know you weren't the problem because they refused to take responsibility for any of the wrongdoings they had in the relationship. However, that clarity never comes right after the breakup. It usually comes 4 months after the breakup, and you're just sitting there feeling like a shitty person for betraying their trust and breaking their heart, but then you look down and you see all of the damage that they caused. That's the beauty of this part.
I said I'd never let go, and I told you I'd stay. But a ship without an anchor's gonna float away.
That's the sound of her letting go, because you are allowed to choose your own happiness. The song starts and you think you're gonna get like a cute, cheeky little flirtatious song like I Want You in My Room by Carly Rae. Like, hey, my man is so hot, like I love him. But no, it's quite literally a sad girl anthem. Like, hey girl, go be sad. It's gonna get better someday. Don't know what day, but someday. This is your chance to listen to music. Eat some cookies, lay in bed, feel the sadness. Because if you're never sad, then you're never happy. It's honestly a very cliche take on life, and it's a song that's been written probably a million times before, and I'm really surprised that I even like it because I hate forcibly happy music, but I think it's the vocal talent and the overall production that kind of leads it away from this genre and more into like
In toxic situations, but you taste like stability. That's new for me. Yeah, this feels like homemade cooking, like backyard kissing, like hold the door open and I laugh, but it's nice like Sunday sleeping in. Baby, I'm leaning in conversations. I can tell that you're listening. I thought I knew what love was. Guess I didn't know it all. 'Cause I don't know what this is, but I think love's supposed to feel like this.
My man's eyes are green, but I cried the first time I heard this song. I was in my car, driving to work, crying because of how beautiful the song is. I wish that Ingrid Andress had gotten the chance to play the Bud Light stage at Lollapalooza so I could have heard her say neon Bud Light sign while holding a Bud Light while on the Bud Light stage. It's just, the song is about like super simple love, and as somebody with brown eyes, I hope my boyfriend is walking around looking at dirt and just gushing. It's just that all-encompassing powerful love that I'm sure everybody wants to feel at one point in their life or another, and I think the best part about the song is the fact that she never actually says the word love, but you know exactly how she's feeling. I actually heard the song for the first time ever live at Lollapalooza, and I honestly think that was the perfect way to be introduced to it. Ingrid sounds just as good, if not better, live, and I love the fact that I was basically introduced to the song the same way you're introduced to like a new potential partner. Like you meet for the first time and you slowly fall in love, just like I did every single note that she sang of the song. And I hope that I get the chills every single time I listen to it, like I did that very first time. And what I love about Ingrid is the fact that she's not singing about like anything unique. Like these are emotions that everybody has felt at one point in their life or another, but she's able to capture these universal emotions in such like a simple way that's it's honestly perfect. The beauty here is that I know so many people, myself included, who wish that they could go back in time and erase their first boyfriend or their first kiss or their first heartbreak as soon as they meet the person that like actually completes them, and just be able to be the person they were before their old significant other like broke their trust and developed all these new insecurities. But is there anything more beautiful than loving someone with all you have? Like taking your broken and bruised heart and just handing it over completely to another person, possibly to be hurt again. Like as much as that pain may have been awful, it created the person that your new partner fell in love with. Like they didn't know who you were before. They fell in love with who you are now, and they're choosing to love you, hopefully, completely. Like, I just think that's so amazing. Like, whether you have a really big, untouched heart or little teeny tiny remains because your last partner loved you a little bit too aggressively, it doesn't matter how much you love the other person so much as it is all. I heard the song for the first time ever in the milk aisle of my HEB. I was buying oat milk for my breakfast and my eyes completely filled with tears. I'm pretty sure the lady standing across from me with her kids thought I was a crazy person, but I had just seen this beautiful, amazing woman perform for hundreds of people live at Lollapalooza, and this is the opening.
I'm only 29, but I've died 100 times. Married way too young, never found someone to love. Yeah, I've watched my hair turn grey, tossed flowers on both my parents' graves, and the night's only halfway over.
Like that opening just completely broke me, because as somebody with a lot of anxiety and overthinking tendencies and mental problems, like listening to the song just took a load off of my shoulders. Like it was very therapeutic to me, because it's very validating to know that other people have these weird and wild and irrational thoughts, and that's okay so long as you don't let them get you down. Like having these thoughts don't make you a bad person so long as you remember that there's basically like light at the end of the tunnel and it's all in your head. And it's just, this song is the perfect thematic bookend to the album, and if you're a little stress case like me, maybe you should give it a listen.
But you treated me good, baby, you love me right. Why'd you hold every door for me, be perfect all the time? I can't even be mad, can't hate you and it's making me crazy. And I'm not getting close, you're getting over you like I should, 'cause you treated me good.
I honestly think Ingrid Andress is a very underrated singer-songwriter, and I think that's due to her simplicity, because there is a really big preference for deep and layered and complex songs, and I like to call this the Taylor Swift effect. And that's coming from somebody who is a self-proclaimed Swiftie, but Ingrid Andress doesn't write in complex metaphors. She straight up says how she feels, and after a long day of trying to decipher my own stupidly complicated emotions, I want to listen to a song that says, I want you to love me, so love me. Like, Ingrid Andress doesn't take her diary and create poetry. She takes every single young adult woman's therapy transcripts and creates haunting country ballads. Yes, I cried to this one too. I think JP Saxe was the perfect person to feature on this duet. I love the way their voices blend together. I think the song both fits Ingrid's album and JP's niche, and I wish it was included on the original version of the album, because it is easily one of my favorite, like hands down, top 5. And I'm not going to overanalyze it, because I think the beauty is in how literal it is, and I want the people who are going to relate to it, to have the same gut punch of emotion that I got when I first heard it. So people in love, do yourself a favor, listen to the song, and maybe grab some tissues first.
When I'm a couple in, I get optimistic, like you and me are realistic. Maybe I'm just wishful drinking, give my heart something to sink in. Better make it to nothing I won't do for another round of me and you. I get hopeful when I'm tipsy, thinking you might actually miss me. It's 100 proof, nothing I won't do for another round of me and you.
Thank you so much for allowing me to geek over my favorite album of 2023. I hope you give it a shot because I definitely recommend, and I will be listening again. Now this is a part of the video where I do like a self-indulgent little promo where I ask you to like and follow and comment and maybe check out my TikTok, maybe drop some album recommendations, and maybe I'll see you later. But if I don't, have a good morning, a good afternoon, and a good life. Oh my god, I'm talking so fast I can't breathe. I really want to be done with this video in an hour because my brother comes home from school in an hour, but I have no faith in myself. My headphones are broken. My headphones are broken.